Jeep should put this in from the factory.
All right, guys, we are tearing apart the truck to install a mod that I think Jeep should have added from the factory, and that is, well, not a rear view mirror, but this is actually a digital rear view mirror. It's gonna be super helpful for being able to see out the back of the truck because we've got the Alucab canopy on here, and I actually don't even have a rear view mirror because I took it off because I can't see anything out the back there. But this is the Wolfbox G900 Tri-Pro, and the reason why it's called the Tri-Pro is because it actually has 3 cameras, and this is not a mirror. This is a LCD screen. It's a touch LCD screen. It's got cool things like GPS, and it can show you all 3 cameras at the same time. So it has 1 camera built in to the back of it, and then we have a camera that we're going to mount to the front of the Jeep because I don't have a front camera, and then we have another camera that we're somehow going to get all the way to the back of the Jeep, and that is going to show up on here as a rear view mirror. So we have it all the time. It's like, you know, newer fancy vehicles that have that. And we're going to be able to record because this has a 256 gig SD card in it. So I'm going to be able to record what's coming off the front camera, the rear camera, and the camera that is built in to the Wolfbox. Now, there's a whole bunch of accessories that come with this. It's going to be a bit of a wiring job for whoever's wanting to install this. Mostly, I want to see just how this actually functions and works, because from what I see on the internet, YouTube videos, and the product documentation literature, it looks pretty cool. Like, this looks really awesome. You can install this on the factory mirror using these like rubber doodads, but then you've got basically an LCD screen on a mirror. But what really drew me to this, what I really like, is this bracket. And this bracket here replaces the OEM mirror bracket. So we're gonna pull the header down across the front of the windshield, and we're gonna bolt this on, and then we can attach the Wolfbox display directly to this. So it's gonna look super OEM, super clean. So that is the project for the Demonator today. I'll show you guys a few things along the way, but I'm not gonna get into like a crazy detailed wiring guide. It's super boring. And this isn't just for Jeeps, this is for anybody. But all right, I'm gonna get back to installing this and see how it goes. Oh, look at that.
Hey.
So that's that camera. That's cool. That's actually a really
nice picture. That's
good
4K,
looking display.
Yeah.
That's, so how do we, oh!
Hey.
There we go, look. So look at this, so you can, oh, make dial tones, but it looks like we can swipe the screen to go through the different cameras.
And that one.
So many hands here. There we go. Oh, that looks a little better now.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to decide is, do I use the license plate frame and mount it below my winch line, which could take damage because of how it sticks out, or do we flush mount it somehow by removing that bolt? I'm really impressed with the quality of this display.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw this, I was like I think I first saw it as like an Instagram ad or something, and I thought it was gonna be like really cheap and really janky. I'm pretty impressed.
There's a lot of like
really nice.
There's a lot of like Temu garbage out there.
Oh yeah.
In this realm, but Wolfbox seems to have a pretty good reputation, because I did talk to a few people before looking at this, and this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's test the other camera, make sure it works.
Okay.
Is it testable at the moment?
Yeah.
Onyx promo. This video is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Look at this though. Okay, I'll show you guys. We're looking at this. So we've got 3 cameras hooked up now. This is what it looks like with all 3 cameras pointing at me. And I really like that you don't have to hit a button on here. You can just, so when you're driving and you want to make one, when you're driving, you can just cycle through your cameras. Now we'll have to switch this one to whatever inversion we need, but we've also got this in here. I saw distance guidelines. So look at this, we can turn on distance guidelines for the rear camera. Jeep should put this in from the factory. So I've made the determination, I don't like the camera up here. I'm gonna put it down here so that I can get a really low view, and then we can adjust the camera and tilt through the screen. We can get a further view, but I really want, yeah, I think to be a rear view camera, it needs to be tilted up more. We've got lots of adjustment. I think I need, in the high position, I need to be able to see your truck. So a little higher. Down is up and up is down.
Oh, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm pointing pretty high eye up.
This looks really cool as a rear view mirror. Let's leave it with that, and then I'm gonna put the other one here on the
on the bottom license plate.
yeah, I'm gonna put the license plate frame on. I just don't think that works up there very well. All right, so we just removed this piece of metal here from the ceiling, from across the windshield frame, and we're gonna bolt this in, not to this, but just in the existing bolt holes. They look like they line up, so just replaces this bracket with this bracket, and then we have this hanging down to put our LCD display on. So Gretchen and I were just talking about my phone mount here, and that's what I use for Onyx Off-Road. If you guys need an awesome piece of software for mapping and GPS off-road, go check out Onyx Off-Road. There's a link down in the description, but I just mount my phone here right like that. Then I've got easy access to my maps wherever I am. Something that was super helpful on a recent trip was actually adding the fire layer. They have Onyx Off-Road has all these different layers. You can see private land, dispersed camping, which can help you find a campground and know whether or not you're allowed to camp there. But what we used on our trip to BC Overland Rally was this here. This is the active wildfire layer, and this is super helpful here in BC during the warmer months. If we're out on a trip, even on a road trip, on a highway trip, like we were heading up to Kelowna, we were able to see where the wildfires were on the highways. You can see right here in Manning Park, this fire is still burning. So if you want to check out Onyx Off-Road, you can try it for free. There's a QR code on the screen right now. You can scan with your phone if you're watching this on TV. It'll take you to a link to download, as well as down in the description below. And there's some discount codes if you want to subscribe to Onyx Off-Road's premium tiers. They'll save you a few bucks on that subscription. I highly recommend checking it out. Everybody I know is using Onyx Off-Road right now, and they just keep adding more and more features. It's super useful. So we're just adding this plate here to the back of the screen. Then we can attach it to the new mount that we added to the window frame in the Jeep. And we're trying to find the screws for this. Then this just goes on here, and then we can reattach this to the mirror piece that we mounted inside the Jeep. Okay, which USB is which?
No, I couldn't tell you which one's which.
Which USB is which?
Yeah.
We should have labeled them.
I think they were labeled.
Small design oversight. And then we just need to pull the cables back, and then we can start routing them across the top and tightening everything up. It's actually like very reflective, almost like a mirror. So you guys can see in the camera when it's not in use, but we'll fire it up in a second. All right, so after a good amount of install time, we have the Wolfbox display and mirror system all set up in the Jeep. Now I've had a chance to take this out, take the Jeep for a drive, see what it's like having a display for rearview mirror. It's a really different concept. And I have some thoughts and some things you guys might want to take into consideration if you're picking up a Wolfbox G900 Pro for yourselves. Overall, I think this is a really cool mod, and I would love to see Jeep do something in this space. I think that it's time for digital rear view mirrors. Everybody's got stuff either in the back of their Wrangler or caps on their Gladiators, or these are available for other vehicles that experience similar problems. We've already got a camera on the back. Why don't we just put a digital rear view mirror in and make it multifunction? So until Jeep does that, Wolfbox has you covered. I really like having the ability to see out of the back of my truck now. Let's talk about the rear view camera. So for mounting the rear camera, a couple things I would consider. First of all, it's not ultra wide. It's not as wide as the factory backup camera. It works really good as a rear view mirror while you're driving, and now you can see behind you. You can see better things coming up into your blind spots. If you want it to see more of where your bumper is in relation to stuff for backing up, I would mount it up higher and angle it down. Where it's mounted, sticking straight back, you can't really see if your bumper's about to hit things, and it looks like things are quite close to you when you can see, you know, within a few centimeters with your rear view camera that Jeep includes, because you can see the bumper. So I think it's for backing up to stuff, you may want to be more mindful with your mounting options. If you want to just use it as a rear view mirror, it works fine down on the bumper. I think the sweet spot would be maybe at the top of the cap.
to be honest. And looking a little bit down, it gives you a nice wide view of everything around you. And then you can adjust the display because you can move the digital image up and down. So if you're backing up to a hitch or something, you could do that. Driving, this is great. I didn't hook it up to the rear view sensor, so this doesn't kick on automatically when I go into reverse, but I think you'd want to leave it on rear view all the time. Otherwise it's a bit distracting. The other thing I notice is it does take it takes a few seconds for this to turn on and boot up. If you're in the habit of jumping in your car and needing to back up right away, it does take a second for this to boot up and load, and it isn't quite as fast as the vehicle's backup camera. So do be mindful for that. It's not instant. The other cameras, the front camera is super cool. I really like that. Add some lines to the front camera and we can make them wider. So I think I want to line, figure these out to where my tires would be. It's probably going to be super wide like that. And then you can adjust them up and down. So you have a whole bunch of settings you can set in here. Easy to cycle through the cameras. The triple camera view is super cool. It is a bit distracting when driving. Now, something to think about though is there is a camera on the front right here. You can see I'm blocking it out. And so it is angled a little bit to accommodate for your mirror being tilted. But if you tilt your mirror too much towards you, you can see how I'm tilting it like you would have for normal angles. It does offset the camera a little bit. But you can see with a little bit of tilt, it's not too bad. And you can see more of the camera in this square view. You see how you can see all the way to the sides versus and up and down, and then when you set it to just the display only, it's cropping it, right? So you can see way more it's more like what it's capturing while it's recording. I guess that's true for backing up too. As soon as I turn the truck on, it starts recording. It does have some settings to record when you're not using the vehicle. We've got GPS direction and speed so that if you have an accident or you capture something, you have some evidence of how fast you're going, which is great. You can connect it to your phone, but you have to turn the Wi-Fi on every time. So it's not something like you can just connect to your phone and monitor whenever you want. I think that would be nice if it is drawing power and running off your vehicle's battery, especially like mine where I've got these solar panels always charging my battery. I'd like to have the camera always available to connect with my phone over Wi-Fi so I can check in on it. Now, the major thing to consider, and I did mention this to Wolfbox, and they're going to look at some sort of, they're going to see if they can fix this, but I think this is super important to note that it does get in the way of your sun visor. And so if you need to put your sun visor down, you need to move this to the side, put your visor down, and move it back. So do be aware of that. I don't know if there's really a better way to fix this. The Jeeps are just super narrow, and I'm sure other vehicles that have a wider cab probably don't experience this issue, but you have to move it out of the way to put your sun visor down, which, I do pretty frequently enough, and that, would be a bit annoying. So maybe Wolfbox can come up with something else to, I don't know if you want it lower. Now you could mount it here down on the dash. You can get mounting kits. You could mount it to like your 67's design mount. I think that would be kind of cool and out of the way. This is larger than the factory mirror, so it is taking up quite a bit of real estate in your mirror, or in your front window, so be prepared to experience that. And then the other thing I don't like, which is an easy fix, all these cables sticking out the top. So this is the brain box. Everything has to connect to it, but I feel like they could have something we could put down in the, places where we don't see stuff that connects to it, and then just one cable run up to here. I did notice though, there's a very active Facebook page with the Wolfbox owners community, and somebody has designed a 3D printed cover that goes over this, which I think I might print off on my Bamboo Labs printers and just put that there to cover up some of these connections. That would be kind of nice. Yeah, so it's really great to have a dash cam back in the truck. It's a little wobbly. I actually need to tighten up the screw on the back of here. I didn't quite get it tight enough. That's what's wobbling. It's not the mount or anything like that. I highly recommend getting the OEM mount if you have a Jeep, or if it's available for your vehicle. It just looks so much more factory looking and like it should be in here. But it's super cool. I really like this, and everybody I've talked to is quite impressed with this. I want to turn off the time. I need to go in here and check some of the settings, but you can adjust the brightness if you find this is too bright. I find the color hue is a little bit blue, when you're driving. You can lock it. What do we have? Playback. So that's what it looks like from the playback, and you can hear me talking. And let's see how far back it's going, because this is going back to, holy moly. So it's still got recordings from when we set this up and installed it on a while ago. So this is holding quite a bit. I have a 512 gig card in here. G sensor, so if something hits, it's gonna should auto flag it. So my other dash cams have worked. Parking mode, what do we have here? For parking mode, G trigger, 12-hour time lapse, 24-hour time lapse. Okay, so G trigger, so if somebody hits your vehicle, then it's going to trigger.
One really important thing that I wanted to mention, though, is that we're seeing a bit of an issue with the screen dimming or completely shutting off when using our VHF radios. A friend of mine with a Wolfbox reached out to me and asking if I was having a problem with the entire display shutting down whenever I use my VHF radio. And there was actually a Facebook thread on the Wolfbox community talking about this issue. In our conversation, it was determined that the proximity of the power wire to the radio wire and antenna for the VHF radio seemed to cause the issue and make it worse. I was curious if there was some EMF interference coming from the radio to the power source. So my friend tried wrapping it in tinfoil, like a whole pile of tinfoil, and it stopped his display from turning on and off and going black whenever he used his VHF radio. So there's definitely something going on with this little power box. The only problem that I had with mine was a little bit of dimming with the screen when I use my radio. So I tried wrapping my power box in some Faraday tape, but I didn't get any improvements. I then tried to wrap it up in some tinfoil to see if that helped, as it did with my friend's problem, but it didn't really change the dimming at all. To me, this isn't really a deal breaker. It's just a very minor amount of dimming. It probably shows up more on camera, but I did want to mention this problem as there is a Facebook thread going on about it. And I do recommend routing your power wires away from any radio communication antenna wires in your rig. And I've provided this feedback as well as the resolution that my friend had back to Wolfbox, and we'll see if they fix something in the future.
Let's see for the price point of where this is at, and the ability to get a front-facing camera and have a rear-facing camera always on while you're driving as a rear-view mirror, especially when you got tons of stuff in your back window, having a Jeep or a truck. I think this is a great investment, and I think until car manufacturers start putting these in off-road vehicles, go check out the Wolfbox stuff and the G900 Pro. This is the triple camera model, so you get the camera on the display. You can mount one on the front. I mean, in theory, you could mount that front one anywhere you want. Same with the rear one. But I mounted them on the license plate brackets just to test out and see how it goes. I suppose you could mount them both forward facing and over your rear fenders. I think Gretchen was talking about how that would be cool. I will put some links down in the description for Wolfbox products in this video. I'll try to dig up the mount as well. You can get on Wolfbox website, but these are on Amazon and stuff, so I'll put links, and you can check out the QR code on the screen right now if you want to just scan it with your phone. Stay tuned for some future trips as well as other reviews, mods on my vehicles, and adventures coming up. It's winter, it's camping season. So hit that subscribe button, guys. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Check out all the links down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them when I have a few minutes, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. My name's Casey, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.